At Goodison Park, where there was a real carnival atmosphere provided by the visiting fans of Wigan Athletic. Your commentator is Gerald Sinstadt.
Wigan are able to choose from a full squad and in fact keep the lineup that won in the last round at Chelsea, where this defence did so well. And it was from midfield that the winning goal came that night, a marvellous goal indeed, scored by skipper Tommy Gore. Up front, well, it was a difficult choice today for manager Ian McNeil, and eventually the state of the pitch won the vote for Derek Brownbill, which means that Tony Quinn is sub. As for Everton, their defence is the one that's played in the last 6 games, with Mark Higgins now out with a fractured ankle. Billy Wright and Mike Lyons have re-established their partnership in the middle. Andy King is another casualty, and his absence from midfield gives Peter Eastoe another chance. While since we were last here, Bob Latchford and Brian Kidd have been given the services of an out-and-out winger in Joe McBride. Change of colours for Wigan. They normally play in blue and white stripes. Today they're in the all-red strip that they wore when they won at Stamford Bridge. Goodman for Everton. Hartford. Early ball, and a good save by Brown, with Eastoe getting through the middle there in a most dangerous position. And that was a... Lee in there hunting after the ball, but eventually Wigan come out with it, and then Wright's control is not good enough. Jeff Wright, that is. Billy Wright now. Kidd to Hartford. Gidman. Stanley will hope to provide a better cross than his last one, and that looks more promising. The flick from Latchford was a tiny bit casual. Now Horton, 2 against 2, and he's taking on Billy Wright to see if he can test him, and he's got it in for... I thought Brownbill was going to make it, but Hodge stretched out a long arm at the last second. Reception by Fretwell, Gore and McBride wins and finds Eastoe. Kidd, Latchford and McBride in the middle. Gidman. By the time the cross came, there were a lot back. Eastoe's shot was mishit, and so too was Latchford's. Kidd. Gidman. Stanley. Cross to Latchford at the near post, and McBride scores! Joe McBride, in his 7th first-team appearance, gets his 2nd Everton goal, and John Brown can only look in dejection. Flick from Latchford, and the finishing from Joe McBride. One was for that time getting it just right. There he plays it in. Latchford in his familiar position on the near post, and McBride on the end of the 3-man goal. With the goal, and here's Eastoe coming through looking for a second and putting it wide, but in fact it was deflected wide because the referee had no hesitation in signalling the corner, with Eastoe coming in here on the shot, and indeed it was a fine save by Brown. Davids. Stanley up and under. Methven down. Latchford! Header by Methven was a little bit indecisive. It was a testing ball flung up there, and Methven got a head to it and just nodded it down, and it was Latchford who thundered through on it. The end of the first half, and Joe McBride's goal gives Everton a 1-0 advantage, Wigan having made their chances. Second half at Goodison Park, awaited by a crowd estimated at nearly 52,000, who paid record receipts for an Everton game of £88,858. It's a gate that hasn't been exceeded here for First Division or Cup football in the last 16 months. Everton kicking off in the second half, leading by 1 goal to 0. Corrigan to Hinnett. Bride, Kidd, did he right again? A lot of possession here for Everton. In the end, Methven intercepts. Brownbill, Urquhart, Gore, Jeff Wright, Corrigan, Brownbill. Already in these opening minutes we're seeing better football from Wigan than anything we really saw from them in the first half. Horton, can he turn on it? Jeff Wright, and Lyons gets it clear. Hinnigan coming in, defence coming out looking for offside, and that's testing but not testing enough for Martin Hodge. Kidman now, Stanley outside him, number 6. Hinnigan waited his time, judged it well, and has hurt his ankle. Stanley. Dummy by Kidd, Latchford, McBride, and David's header gives away the corner. So more work in the... Bride swings it over under that crossbar, and Latchford scores, and that will settle it now. McBride taking the left-footed corner, which might have been expected to be an outswinger, but in fact cut in under the bar, and Latchford up for a classic Bob Latchford goal. Brings his total in league and cup now in nearly 6 years at Goodison Park to 124 goals, just about an average of one every other game. Quinn. Happy Everton fans again, the scarves aloft. Kidd, Pride, taking on Fretwell, and nicely played out of defence by Wigan. Urquhart, Jeff Wright, Urquhart, Gore, Quinn. Good build up here by Wigan. Brownbill, and in goes Urquhart. Pass a fraction hard, and Urquhart couldn't stretch. Man Wall, Corrigan plays it for Gore, and Gore has a good shot. Oh, that was a beautiful shot. Tommy Gore, and really was only 2 or 3 inches wide of the post. Bailey takes the throw to Stanley. Still on the far side of the penalty area, calling. Bride plays it in low to Kidd. Well, they don't come much better than that one. John Brown can't blame himself. I doubt whether he saw it. Bride hit in low, and Kidd waits and wallops. 3-0 now, and Everton coasting towards the 5th round. 4 goals they scored against Aldershot in the previous round, and they'll now fancy themselves to go on here. Wigan, meanwhile, who've not been disgraced, will look for a goal to give themselves something to remember from Goodison Park. And we've got a bit under 15 minutes for it all to happen. Quinn. Brownbill got a wrap across the shins there. Jeff Wright. Stanley got a kick on the back of the thigh from Horton. Horton turns well and shoots well. Little touch of class from Peter Horton, who is one of the Wigan players who's been watched by a number of clubs, and here he shows why. On the chest, on the turn, and a good left foot effort goes just over. Kidd for Kidman. Corrigan and a corner. And the referee now is getting his card out again. Somebody has said something in that 6-yard area. And it's Kidd that he showed the card to. So that's the third Everton player caution. Brown looking for this and helping it away with his left fingertips. And the book comes out once again. And now it's a red card and Brian Kidd goes off. 2 cautionable offences. And there are players squaring up to each other, Corrigan and Latchford. And the linesman is in between them as Kidd walks off. Bailey, who saw that from 30 yards away, has moved in to cool it down. And suddenly the game explodes. And there is a player down in the goal mouth. I didn't see him go down. It's either Fretwell or Davids, but somebody got sorted out in there. It's Davids. I didn't see that happen. It's Enflin's header. Bailey. Well, Everton have been in the FA Cup final 7 times and won it 3 times. And this season, having started with 2 home draws against 4th division sides, they may begin to feel that the wind is behind them again this year. The final whistle. Everton go through to the 5th round at the expense of Wigan Athletic, winners by 3 goals to 0. Applause from the Wigan fans for a brave effort by their team. The players go across to return the applause in a game that was soured by some unsavoury moments in the last quarter of an hour. If we can start with the winning manager, Gordon Lee, what was your verdict on the game?
Well, I think it was a good cup tie. I think Wigan did very, very well. They battled right up until we scored the second goal. I think that in the second half of one spell, some of the football they played was setting up play was very, very good. They played very well up until the penalty area in the second half, and I think they would credit the 4th division. I think if they play like that, they could get promotion this year to the 4th division.
Ian McNeil. Now, we had a rather nasty last quarter of an hour of the game. Have you reprimanded any of your players over the incident?
No, all I've said to Brian Kidd is go home, enjoy the weekend with your wife and family, forget all about it, and we'll think about, we'll talk about it on Monday. Because I think in the heat of a game, particularly a cup tie, a big crowd, a lot of atmosphere, and there's a lot of pressure on players, and I think it's difficult to sort of, you try as a manager to tell them to bite the lip or try not to react, but I think they're all human beings, football players, and they react in different ways, and it's just one of the things that will always be in football. We try not to want it to happen, but it will always happen, and I think usually it happens in cup ties more than league games, because there's a quicker tempo, more atmosphere, and we've only got to learn from experience.
We leave the last word on the game from the young Everton player who has so much to be pleased about from only his 2nd cup tie, Joe McBride.
Joe, goal number 2 in a career that's only 7 matches old. You must have felt very pleased with things this afternoon.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with the play this afternoon. The goal sort of set me up for the rest of the game. I was pleased with that.
And scored with your right foot, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's my range with my right foot, 2 yards, I don't miss them from there. But I was going to blast it when it came, and I thought, no, I'll just make sure I hit the target, and luckily it went in.
It does seem to have given Everton more options and a change of pattern since you've come into the side. Would you go along with that?
Well, it gives everybody another option, to play the ball wide, especially boys in the middle of the park. But I think Bob prefers it with somebody wide as well,